I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Woo! We're back. Station 19, After Show. I'm one of your hosts, Lynna Antwi, and to my immediate left, one of my faves.
Hello. How are you doing? How are you holding up this week?
Girl, I'm drinking my water, and all I can say is thank you for water. Thank you for water, God. Thank you. Because it's short and in demand right now.
Very much so.
Man. Overall thoughts of this episode?
I liked it. I was a little distracted. The whole motorcycle gang thing was a lot to handle, but I loved the storyline about Pruitt and Dean and their connection from the past. The Dean flashback was really, really good. I know we've been seeing a lot of them, but of course, Dean has a special place in my heart. And so I love learning more about him. He honestly I grew to love him even more seeing this.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think that these flashback stories and seeing their backstories are really helping me understand like each character. So I loved all of that. And yeah, I gotta agree with you. This was a hard one. This emergency, because usually they have like 2 per episode, but this was like one long emergency, and it was a difficult one.
Yeah.
Right. And then we saw the Proby on scene trying to do his best and learning as he went. But this was like a very difficult emergency with lots of casualties.
Yes.
So it was kind of weird. Let's talk about Ben and Bailey.
I love them so much.
Same. They're couple goals.
They really are couple goals. Like their connection is amazing, and they are who I aspire to be once I meet a man who becomes my boyfriend, who becomes my husband, who's hopefully a doctor eventually.
I mean, I'm just going to say ditto to that. Because, I mean, ditto. Find me quick, too.
Right.
Can I get that connection and find me quick?
Right. And it's not about me wanting a doctor, but just that connection that they have. Like, she was able to read what he was trying to say to her without him even saying it.
Right. So, which is what I was trying to say. So, he's trying to ask her, which I love, because we know Ben used to be on Grey's, and he's like, so how did you handle, drinking on the job? Because that was Richard, and how did you handle it? Like, what did you do? And she's like, who's drinking on the job? Right? She which I love about Bailey, she jumps to the point. He's like, I didn't say that. I didn't. Yeah. And she was able to put together Sullivan and not drinking, but the whole drugs because of Amelia, and we'll get to that whole thing. But yeah, what a connection.
Amazing. And when he called her, he said she's witchy. Yeah. It's so funny because my stepdad used to call my mom that when she would, I think it's women's intuition. Yes. It's just so strong, and we're so intuitive. So when you're tuned into your spouse, you know things.
Absolutely. So we flash back to 2009. And we start to see a little bit about Dean's background and how he didn't like his job. He was born rich. I'm assuming he was like some type of trader, day trader, whatever it is.
Right.
His job was to make money, to have money to make more money.
Make money or something.
Yeah,
like
make money, right?
And it was also his parents' firm.
Yes. The family business.
Yeah, that was really interesting to learn.
And then to see him hanging out with this guy Tom and this guy Greg, who we find out that Greg kind of ODs on drugs. And we see that Dean is not into that. He's not into really the whole lifestyle. Like, he doesn't really like his job. He doesn't really like his friends, but here he is, right?
Yeah. I mean, have you ever met guys like living in New York? This is the typical lifestyle of guys who work in finance. They make a lot of money, they party a lot, and they do a lot of cocaino. So they were accurate in this depiction of them. But I was worried that Dean was going to be trying the cocaine, but he didn't. He was always a stand-up guy. And the fact that he knew CPR from back then, from being on the swim team, I was like, Dean, love you so much.
Can you just please come on our show already? Because it's been 3 years with this one, having a major crush on you, and I just cannot, because it's just getting worse and worse and worse.
I just feel a connection.
Could you be the one? Could you?
I mean, if he came here, I would not, I'd be professional, but I'm just saying I love his character. That's it.
Yeah, okay. We'll go with that. She loves his character. Mm-hmm.
Moving on.
Moving on. Let's talk about the emergency. So we get to the emergency. What was interesting about this episode was they just jumped in.
Yeah.
They didn't give us like any type of backstory. You didn't know really what happened, but we can surmise that there was a drunk driver in a truck, and there were 9 bikers who were like the casual bikers. They biked once a month, right? Going on maybe like a cruise to brunch, because it was early in the morning, we found out. So you put all these things together, and at first they thought there was only 6 victims. Then there were 7 victims. Then there was 8 victims. And there were 9 victims.
Right.
Plus the driver.
Crazy.
And what was so sad about this was like they were a family, you know, and you know, there was a doctor there who, you know, basically looked like, which is so interesting to me too, where you go on scene or they go on scene and you think like the one that's least injured is least injured, but it's usually they're the most seriously injured,
Mm-hmm.
which we saw with this guy, Steve.
Mm-hmm.
So the plastic doc, he's like giving his like little bit of doc information. So you knew he was like in the medical field, but you didn't
Right.
know exactly what. What did you think of that whole thing?
It was interesting to see how something like a hobby, you know, that you just do for fun, where you have your spouses who are telling you, hey, you shouldn't do this, warning you about something that, because, you know, they're nervous for you, but this is something you enjoy. In this case, this was, you know, as a doctor or whatever the other people did, this was their outlet. And here it is. It's the thing that ended up, you know, causing injury for many of them. And it's the fact that they got hit by a truck. So what happened? Like the truck hit the entire crew at one time. Like that's crazy. So it was just sad to see, and it especially with all this coronavirus talk, and you know, some of us are the friend that's like taking it easy and not being scared about it, and some people are really nervous and putting like telling you to be cautious. So it reminded me of that, just like being wary of what you do and taking as many precautions as you can, no matter what. Even, you know, we're going through our everyday lives thinking, you know, we're going to be okay. We're invincible sometimes, but unfortunately now we're learning not so much.
Ooh.
Sorry.
Yeah. Well, and on that note, let's go ahead and talk about Vic and Avery.
Yes.
So I love this. I love everything about this. So Avery comes into the fire station, and we know that Vic is on desk duty because of what happened last week. Everyone's thinking there are aliens and all of this coming out of the woodwork. So he comes in and says that basically the cleaning lady found all these bags in the back of the closet, of my closet, and like, what are they doing there? And she's like, well, you know, your closet is super roomy, right? Which I thought was funny. And she's like, it's possible I may be living at your place, but like in a habitat type of way, not in a relationship type of way. And goes on to say, like, you know, we have these sexy sleep times 2-3 times a week, and then I sleep at the station the other days. And he's looking at his face is like, so you can't just move in with me and not tell me. What did you think of that?
It was crazy because one, I thought, you know, he was whipped by Vic. That rhymes. And so I thought he would just be like, okay, yeah, sure. Let me just take this whole duffel bag back with me to my house and put it back in the closet. But surprisingly, first of all, it was really shady the way he brought that whole duffel bag of her stuff back to her.
There were 3 of them.
Rude. Okay, rude. He could have left them there. I know, but that was really grimy, Avery. It was real grimy.
I don't think it was grimy, Avery.
But also, I would like the fact that it showed me that he had a backbone. But also Vic was really nonchalant about it, which he's a little bit more intuitive at times. So I was really surprised at how lightheartedly she was taking the whole thing. I'm attributing it to her desperateness of being homeless and not having a place to live. So she was just trying to ease the blow for him because you could see his anger increasing. But it really surprised me. And now are they broken up or what? Like, I haven't watched Grey's yet, so I don't know.
So hold on, Tsahai.
What?
Let's just like rewind. So you're dating some dude
Yeah.
that you really like and enjoy.
Yeah.
And you go home after a long day like today.
Mm-hmm.
You go home
Mm-hmm.
and you see in the back of your closet that he has 3 bags
Mm-hmm.
stored there that you didn't know about because he didn't bring them in when you were around.
Right.
And then you see that you kind of put 2 and 2 together and you see, oh, you know, he's spending like 2-3 days a week at my house. You never go to his house.
Right.
You're going to try to tell me that you are not going to mention that to him, nor are you going to pull the bags out, see what's in the bags, and bring the bags and be like, hey, what's up?
No, I would handle it differently. I would address it, yes. Me personally, in my real life, I would address it because obviously I'd be dating a homeless sexual at that time. It'd be a big revelation for me. I would not go into his bags and break his privacy, but I would be like, hey, what's up? And if I liked him, you know, I always like company, so I might let him stay, but I'm gonna be like, you know, you're gonna have to split this rent, you know, buy some groceries, take out the garbage, you're gonna have some responsibilities now. So that's probably how I would handle it, depending on how he played it. Like, if he was really trying to use me, then I wouldn't do it. But if he really needed the help, I'd be like, okay, cool, I'll help you out for a little bit. That's just me.
All right. My rule is you can't stay at my place if you don't have anywhere else to go.
Oh.
I've been there, done that, and people, they don't leave.
They take advantage. Totally.
They don't leave.
Yeah.
And that takes too long. So, given the scenario that I just gave you, yeah, I'm gonna go in the bag. I'm gonna see what's in the bag.
Dang.
Listen, it's my house. It's not like it's our house and I'm invading your privacy. You put those bags there. They don't belong there. You didn't say you're bringing the bags in. For all I know, you could be doing whatever.
Yeah.
I'm the homeowner. I need to know what's in those bags.
But then it could lead to so many things. If it's something illegal in there, then you're involved.
What kind of relationship are you in where you can't communicate with your man and your man has to sneak in to live with you? That's all I'm saying.
Situationships. These things happen.
That's all I'm saying. So Vic, you know, you sliding into Avery's house and not saying, I mean, what does that say about your relationship? That's all I'm saying. So yeah, maybe they are broken up because I can see how Avery would be like, nah.
Yeah.
Moving on, Dean and Pruitt. So we learned through the flashbacks how Pruitt and Dean actually meet. And what I thought was really sweet about that was you could see that Dean, by saving his friend Greg, found his calling. And how he didn't want to give up until he knew that, you know, the friend was resuscitated. And then you see how Pruitt was the one that changed the direction of his life just by giving him a card.
Yeah.
What did you think of that whole thing?
I thought, you know, Dean actually didn't find his calling, but I guess he was led to his calling because his first job was given to him by his parents. And then the second job, it was Pruitt seeing something in him that gave him that second career. You know what I'm saying? So at least I felt like at the time, Dean was, like many of us, directionless. He didn't know what he was doing. And so he was pushed in these 2 directions by people that saw something in him. Well, you know, nepotism with his parents and then Pruitt seeing something in him. So I love that. And their bond was beautiful. And the fact you saw that Pruitt loved having a baby around. He was so good with the baby. And they were both, you know what, bonding because they were both single dads.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. And him coming over trying to teach Dean to not be afraid.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like and when he said, he figured it out that Dean was like on the fence. He was probably going to give the baby away. And he's like, well, you know, the baby crying and all of this stuff, that's out of fear. But once you're all in, like you were all in when you were saving your friend, then the fear means nothing to you. It's about the love. And I was like, oh, you guys. And then I wanted to talk about how Dean called Pruitt out and Pruitt got angry. But you know how we talked about this last week? They keep bringing up his like option to get help, right? That's why I still think there's hope that he's not going to die.
Right. Same.
Because we saw Ben last week talk to him like, hey, Grace Sloan's has the best urologist in the nation. Here we have Dean calling him out saying, for someone who's like so strong and saying you're going to miss all of these things, you don't look like you're trying to fight.
Right.
right? Like you don't. You say you're gonna miss your daughter and all of this and her wedding and future grandkids and all this stuff, but you're not fighting for your own life.
Yeah.
So I feel like there might be a slight hope there still.
There's some hope there.
Yeah, I agree.
Long live Pruitt.
You're on fire today.
I don't know what's wrong with me. Damn, Corona got me nervous. Also, somebody said, Nayla Sima found in the live chat said, I like Vic and Dean. So that will come up in my predictions.
Let's talk about Amelia and Sullivan.
Yes.
So we see Sullivan at Gray's, going to see Amelia to treat his pain. And he sought her out specifically.
Mm-hmm.
And knowing her history, we know that, you know, she's a recovering addict. She's been through so much in her recovery. What I liked is that how Amelia called him out. She was like, first it was about the pain.
Mm-hmm.
Then it was the pain and the drugs. Now it's the pain, the drugs, and the lies. And then now it's the pain, the drugs, the lies, and the depression.
Right.
Which is all things that we saw throughout the last few episodes that you and I would literally get angry over, to see him like shooting up at the firehouse, ODing, like bracing his leg in pain and denying the fact that, hey, you can get this surgery and call it a day, but now the pain has turned into all of this stuff. And then when she tells him to go to a meeting and he's like, I'm not an addict. So then what are you?
Oh, really, Sullivan? Really? But I mean, you know, I've been very critical of him all this time, and I'm happy at least he made this first step. So that's something to be said for Sullivan's progress. And he poured out the drugs in the garbage can. So that was nice to see.
That moment.
Yeah, even though it was wasting something that somebody else could have used.
I mean, you shouldn't have stolen in the first place.
Sure.
But, yeah. So hopefully he's on the right path right now, but we don't know that for sure. We just know that he took that first step.
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Eva and Jack. Listen, Eva, you can't blame Jack. Because you know what? If we want to put blame on anyone, you're the one that got this train rolling.
Yes, you did.
So if you were not a cheater and cheated with Jack, this situation probably wouldn't have happened, because guess what? You wouldn't have slept with Jack, and your husband wouldn't have been mad at Jack. Therefore, he wouldn't have tapped Jack, and Jack have to fess up to this. Then they go on the call where they hate each other, and Jack is literally trying to save him from a situation. He overreacts. Well, guess what? It all leads back to you, Eva. So don't you dare turn around and say, Jack's the reason why your husband's in the ICU.
I totally agree. I have nothing to say about that. Agreed.
That's it.
Yep.
Stop it.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, as you pointed out too, it looks like you're on another date while your husband's in the hospital. First of all, why are you in the bar? You should be at bedside. If he's in ICU, you should be at the hospital. Just saying.
Facts.
That's it.
That's it.
Jack and Andy. So we see that Andy finally, thank you God, is not in her angry place, because I was so sick of angry Andy. And we see her finally kind of make a wise decision. And I know, guys, that you love the Jack and Andy getting back together, and they said that they were helping each other.
Yeah.
And when he's like, do you want to, basically go get some relief? And she's like, no.
Yeah.
And he's like, wait, what happened? I thought we were going to be there for each other. I saw in that moment that she was finally making good decisions for herself.
Right.
Do you feel the same way?
Totally. In the words of Kelly on Insecure, growth. That is what you call growth. And I appreciate that. And good job, Andy. You two have been moving forward like Sullivan. Baby steps here. But my baby Jack, poor thing. I feel sorry for him. And he still needs the soothing from someone, because he's still going through some stuff.
Yeah, because he's holding on to this guilt. He thinks he's responsible for...
I know.
Yeah, but he's not.
No, he's not. It's not his fault at all. It takes two to tango.
I mean, he is a cheater.
But he's not the one that's married.
Yeah, okay, but you're still a cheater.
I mean...
Because you knew that she was married.
But he's not in a relationship.
Okay.
We'll discuss.
Let's discuss it right now real quick.
But because I want to go on, I want to make sure we don't forget, someone asked that we make sure we talk about Maya.
I'm
new girlfriend.
There. I'm getting there.
Good. Okay.
I got 2 more pages of notes, y'all. Calm down. I I do want to say though, and we'll have this discussion, I guess, later. And if you want to hit us up in the comments, please do. But if you're single and you're seeing someone that's married, are you a cheater? That's the question. And you are looking at me like, no.
Because he's not in a relationship. She's the one that's he doesn't have a girlfriend that he's cheating on. She's the one that's married. So technically she's the cheater. He's involved in an affair with someone and he's enabling her in the cheating. That's technicalities. That's how I'm looking at it.
Okay.
I just don't want to blame Jack. I don't want to blame Jack.
Cheating. If you have prior knowledge, y'all are both wrong. That's what I'm saying. Moving on. Vic comes over to Dean's and, she wants to basically fix all the situations. Her homeless situation, Dean's baby mama situation. And what did you think of her solution where I can move in, I can help with the baby, we can have baby time together.
What did she call it? Like crying time or something?
Crying time, yeah. And you're rich, she said. So when we're at work, we'll just have a nanny. What do you think of that?
First of all, she said you're rich, which she also brought up in dating Jackson. She's like, well, he's rich, so I can afford to live in his place. So Vic has something about money. You know what I'm saying? We still don't really know how she ended up losing her lease because that seems like a very irresponsible thing. So I can't wait to find out how that happened. But I think she's also a little desperate right now. She's just like flailing and just is like, I just need a place to stay. I'll do anything, to just kind of resolve these issues. But it's putting a Band-Aid over what's really going on with her. I think something deeper is going on.
Yeah, because why can't you got a full-time job, you got a career.
Right.
Why are you not looking for another place to live?
Exactly.
Like, it's weird. You're just trying to sponge off of your quote, like you said, quote unquote, rich boyfriend, rich friend.
Mm-hmm.
So what's going on there? Like you said, what's the underlying issue there? Moving. Oh, wait, we can't forget about Dean finally naming the baby.
Yeah.
Pruitt. Anika.
Arike Miller.
Arike Miller.
Beautiful.
It's a beautiful name.
Her initials are Pam.
But it's Prue, he's saying.
I know.
Pruitt, which is so cute because Pruitt's the one that convinced him to keep the baby. And we know that Pruitt's the one that got him into being a firefighter. So it's just all beautiful. And also...
Here we go. Pruitt birthed his firefighter career and helped raise his baby. That's it.
I don't know who this person is right here. Please come again, because I don't know who she is, guys. For real, for real.
Thank you, guys. I'm here all night.
Seriously. Okay, let's talk about Maya and Dr. DeLuca.
Yes.
So we saw last week how Maya tried to push away Dr. DeLuca, and Dr. DeLuca was basically like, "Listen, I'm not here to fix you. Obviously, you have some issues. I just like you, right?"
Yeah.
And that really showed Maya, "Hey, listen, yeah, okay." I like you too.
Yeah.
Right? Fast forward, we see them in bed together. And it was so sad because Maya's like, I'm the truck that plowed into Station 19 and destroyed an entire family, which flashes back to the accident,
right.
The emergency, where the guy was like, we're like family. And that truck destroyed 9 out of the 10 lives.
Right. You have a bleeding heart for Maya. I know you have a soft spot for her, but I was like, okay, finally coming to your senses. So it was interesting to see this. I feel a little bad for her, but she's hardcore, and I think she likes being hardcore. That's her personality. So I'm always, whenever she starts crying, I'm like, whoa, I didn't know you had it in you. So, but good for her.
Is that it?
Yeah, I mean, look, we got other things. I want to get to some other things. Running out of time here.
Okay, we are going to come back to this issue because I honestly think that Maya is becoming a great leader at the firehouse and she doesn't know it because her friends are hating on her. Moving on.
Okay.
Andy and Sullivan at the very end, she says she's sick of being angry. I'm sick of you being angry as well, and calls him her safe place. Wants him to kiss her. He does. But I'm like, you're just about to start your recovery. So is this a situation where you're really trying to get into right now?
I mean, maybe the situationship with Andy will help soothe his pain in another way. I don't know. you know,
He's an addict now. What are you talking about?
maybe she'll become his new addiction. Okay, he needs something for that darn leg.
Oh my god, you sound ridiculous right now. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Let's move on to some news and gossip.
Yes.
AfterBuzz TV News.
So, will we see Ryan again? According to showrunner Krista Vernoff, she says that she wanted to see Andy get dark and twisty, so she needed to lose someone, which happened to be Ryan. Basically, watching the first 2 seasons of the show, she said she had a strong impulse to put Andy through something dark and twisty, and that meant killing Ryan. But we could possibly see Ryan again. Krista, the showrunner and executive producer, said, "We have a flashback motif going in every episode this season, and I could definitely see Ryan appearing again." So also in other news, Station 19 has been renewed for another season, season 4.
Yay!
Woo! According to Variety.com, Krista, who I mentioned is the showrunner and EP, said that, you know, ABC has said that she's sharp and a superb storyteller, and we're grateful for her, along with the talented cast and crew, for all they've done to make Station 19 thrive this season. And this addictive, rich show is hitting series highs for this year, and for a reason, and they can't wait to deliver more great stories to our passionate audience like yourselves. So thank you so much. Station 19 is averaging 13.5 million viewers and 3.7 ratings in adults 18 to 49. So guys, you know, I feel like we did this, guys. Congratulations to us and to the cast and crew of Station 19.
Love it. I love it. Congratulations to us.
That's right.
Let's do some fire facts. I just have one fire fact for you today.
Okay.
That's a good one, though. So, fire isn't just orange. So most common fires, such as campfires, burn between 590 degrees and 1200 degrees Celsius. For you Fahrenheit people, that's 1100 Fahrenheit to 2200 Fahrenheit. This temperature results in an orange flame. At this temperature, some carbon from the fire's fuel escapes without being burned. These trace elements are mixed with the fire and illuminated by its light and give the fire a yellow or orange glow. But this changes when a fire increases in temperature. So if we go to 1260 degrees to 1650 degrees Celsius, the fire is hot enough to consume all the carbon. Without no surviving carbon, the change of the color goes from the orangey yellow to a brilliant light blue. But carbon isn't the only kind of chemical or compound that can end up in a fire. If a fuel source is burned that has small amounts of copper, those copper particles will enter the fire and produce a green light in the same way that carbon particles produce an orange light. So we've got yellow, we've got orange, we've got blue, we now have green. When burned, lithium chloride produces a pink flame, and strontium chloride makes a red flame, and potassium chloride creates a purple flame. So there's a rainbow of colors depending on the kind of fuel that is burned. Did you know that?
I did not
Pink
know
flame,
that.
purple
Wow.
flame, red flames, orange flames, green flames, blue flames.
Beautiful.
That is your fire fact for the day. Let's move on to one quick prediction.
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
I think Avery and Vic are definitely broken up, and I think this is going to lead to her and Dean getting together. I know I've been here for Dean and Maggie, but low-key, deep down inside, I wanted Avery and Maggie to get back together, especially after he apologized to her. So if Avery and Maggie are together, and then Dean and Vic are together, I'd be a happy camper.
I'm going to go with this. I think that Pruitt is going to be so touched that Dean named his baby after him and has decided to keep Prue, that he's actually going to now fight for his life. And I think that he's going to be able to fight for his life and not die.
Love that. Love that.
That's it.
That's great. Also, shout out to our commenters last week: Crystal Sims, Toes Girls, Sarah Elizabeth Lawson, Gemini 3.
Hi, Gemini 3.
And Nicole O'Brien.
Hi, Nicole.
I'll be responding to your comments, guys. So hit us up.
I love all our regulars.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us all the time. And guys, thank you for joining us. Where can they find you on social media?
You can find me at Say Hi Tsahai.
Guys, all across social media, Linda's So Girly. Same time, same place next week, hopefully.
Yes, stay safe out there, guys.
Yes. Bye for now.
Bye.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.